Ivan, do you see anything? Anything at all? Nothing, only rocks and shadows, always the shadows. That sound, that oppressive metallic heat, that was the reality for thousands of young Soviet conscripts during the Afghan War, trapped inside 40 tons of steel, rolling through a landscape that wanted them dead. The year is the mid-1980s. The Soviet Union is bogged down in a vicious guerrilla war it cannot win. Their most feared opponent isn't an army, but a valley, the Panjshir Valley, a labyrinth of sheer cliffs and narrow gorges, controlled by the legendary Mujahideen commander Ahmad Shah Massoud, the Lion of Panjshir. And for the men of the Red Army, a mission into the Panjshir wasn't a mission, it was a trial. It was a journey into the belly of the beast, where every rock could hide a hunter, and every moment of silence was a lie. This is the story of one such crew, in one such tent, on one very long, very dangerous day. Welcome to Top Tier TV. To understand their fear, you have to understand their world. The T-62 main battle tank was a masterpiece of Soviet engineering for a European battlefield, but in the high passes of the Hindu Kush, it was a death trap. Inside, it was an oven. Temperatures could soar to 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The air was thick with the stench of diesel, sweat, and cordite. The crew, commander, driver, gunner, loader, were crammed into a cramped, noisy, and vulnerable metal box. Their armor, thick enough to stop a shell on the plains of Germany, was useless here, because the threat wasn't from other tanks. It was from above, from the countless unseen ridges that lined the valley. A single man with a rocket-propelled grenade, an RPG, could hide anywhere, wait for the perfect shot at the thinner top or rear armor, and vanish before the turret could even turn. The tank's greatest strength, its overwhelming firepower, was neutered. You can't shell a shadow, you can't machine gun a ghost. The crew's only real defense was paranoia, a constant, grinding, exhausting state of hypervigilance. The convoy moves at a crawl, a few BMP infantry fighting vehicles, some trucks, and our T-62. Call sign Burit, meaning snowstorm. The rules are simple. Stay alert, keep moving, and never, ever stop. The driver stares at the road ahead, terrified of a mine. The gunner sweeps his sight left and right, until his eye aches. The commander stands in his hatch, exposed from the waist up, scanning the cliffs with binoculars. His neck is on a constant swivel. He knows he is the most likely first target. Then it happened. Not with a warning, but with a cataclysm. Commander, ambush, gunner, traverse left, high explosive, identify target. The gunner frantically spins his handle, but the targets are everywhere and nowhere. Muzzle flashes wink from a dozen different caves and ridges. The loader rams a shell into the breach, his hands shaking. The tank's main gun booms, the sound deafening inside the turret. The shell screams away and obliterates a section of cliff face, but the firing continues. This is the Mujahideen way. Hit hard, hit fast, from multiple angles, cause chaos. Convoy is pinned. The Soviet infantry dismount from their BMPs, seeking what little cover they can find, firing wildly up at the unseen enemy. Burit is now a magnet for fire. RPG rounds slam into the road nearby, showering the tank in dirt and rock. One round strikes the frontal glasses plate with a terrifying crunch, but the armor holds. The crew is rattled, but alive. The commander barks orders, coordinating with the other vehicles. Their machine guns are their best hope now, laying down a wall of suppressing fire to allow the infantry to regroup and for a damaged vehicle to be pushed off the road. But the Lion of Panjshir's tactics are relentless. The initial attack was just the first act. Now, the snipers begin their work. Soviet lieutenant directing the defense crumples to the ground. The morale of the convoy begins to fracture. The heat, the noise, the fear, it's overwhelming. Inside Burin, the atmosphere is suffocating. The fear has a taste. It's metallic. It's the taste of the shell casings piling up at the loader's feet. It's the smell of their own fear. The driver, sealed in his forward compartment, is alone with his terror, listening to the war rage outside his tiny hatch. The battle isn't a clear victory for either side. The Soviets, with their superior firepower, eventually force the Mujahideen to break contact and melt back into the mountains. But it's a Pyrrhic victory. The convoy is mauled, vehicles are destroyed, men are dead and wounded, and the mission, to resupply a remote outpost, has failed. Burin and the remnants of the convoy limp back the way they came. The valley once again is silent, but the crew knows the silence isn't peace. It's just the lion catching its breath. The story of Buran and its crew is a microcosm of the entire Soviet experience in Afghanistan. It wasn't about grand battles and sweeping victories. It was about convoys. It was about road security. It was about a slow, grinding war of attrition against an invisible, determined enemy in a land that rejected them. It's a story that highlights the brutal mismatch between a conventional army and a guerrilla insurgency. It's a testament to the courage of the Mujahideen, and in its own way, to the grim endurance of the Soviet soldier, a long way from home, fighting a war few of them understood, inside a steel coffin rolling through the valley of the Lion. If you find these deep dives into military history fascinating, do us a huge favor and hit that like on button, and subscribe to Top Tier TV. And we want to hear from you in the comments. What other aspects of the Soviet-Afghan War, or counterinsurgency warfare in general, would you like us to explore? Let's get a conversation going. Thanks for watching. Until next time on Top Tier TV.